Hello everybody. Today's video is the next in my blood work series and it's on blood sugar. So this is a key area we test for, when working with clients. So there's three tests involved here. You have your fasted glucose, your HbA1c and your insulin levels. Now, fasted glucose is tested in pretty much all blood tests, but it doesn't tell you an awful lot. A lot of people are in range here, but they could have a lot going on, is what I see. HbA1c, which is your hemoglobin A1c, this tells a lot more. Now, this is tested in most blood tests are testing this now, pretty much because, of the diabetes epidemic. There's a necessity to test this. So this will tell you if somebody, is diabetic or they're pre-diabetic, etc. The range is between 20 and 42. If you're anywhere above the mid-30s, you're pre-diabetic. And you'd be surprised the amount of people I see who are pre-diabetic walking around and they don't know, just developing insulin resistance is alarming. For a healthy, fit individual, I like to see this, below 30. I don't like to see it above 30. This would mean then that you have good insulin sensitivity, you're healthy. And also, good insulin sensitivity means that you utilize nutrients properly in the body. So they go to the right areas. So if you want to build more muscle, for instance, the better your insulin sensitivity, definitely you're gonna have a lot more success. And next, insulin levels. So it's much harder to get insulin levels tested, I notice, and it is important to get them done. So, because while, as I said earlier, somebody could be in range with their fasted glucose, but this is a little bit similar to, say, your TSH in thyroid, as in you could be running an awful amount of insulin to get down your blood sugars to a normal level, so the range, I think, for insulin levels is between 18 and 173. So, you don't want to be running much insulin to be able to maintain a good blood sugar, if that makes sense. If you have to run a really high level of insulin just to have a normal blood sugar, that means you've problems. And high insulin levels in the body lead to so many diseases, not just diabetes, overall inflammation in the body, which leads to cancers. And actually what we're seeing as well now is, Alzheimer's, dementia, all that stuff. That's been called type 3 diabetes because it's excessive blood sugar in the brain. So a lot of these modern diseases are, they're caused by sugar and insulin. So what causes this? First and foremost, diet, and mainly a diet that's too high in carbohydrates, probably not high enough in protein and the correct fats. That's, the number one cause. Number two is, lack of proper exercise. Number three would be hormones out of whack in the body, so maybe low testosterone, etc. That causes poor insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance and so on. And also a major factor is sleep. So a lack of quality sleep, or not getting enough sleep. And we all know so many people nowadays are not sleeping well and sleeping enough. So there's another simple fix for blood sugar. Everybody's familiar with all the GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic, etc., that are being created to try and stem this issue. And yes, they're necessary and they're doing a good job. But if people done the basics, they wouldn't be needed at all. And before all these it was just probably metformin and glucophage people were prescribed for, type 2 diabetes. That was the most common form of medication. And an interesting study there was done where it was proved that if a person took 3 10-minute brisk walks a day, it proved to be twice as effective as metformin. So again, I'm just stating the point that lifestyle really is the key. You can reverse type 2 diabetes. If it goes full whack to type 1, where you actually need insulin because your beta cells are totally gone, that's another a whole other story. But the vast majority of people I see are, mostly pre-diabetic, and they can certainly reverse this and get their health in order. So, as I say, a huge area, quite frankly, an epidemic nowadays, and one of the most important areas on a blood test.